This is Mike Lingle from Rocket Pro Forma, and today we're going to talk about organic and paid ad sales funnels, which basically means visitors come to your website and they convert into customers. One thing we're going to do is set the conversion ratio, and that's of the people who come to your site and visit your site, how many of those convert into customers. So in this case, this is saying in year one, 2% of your site visitors convert to customers, and you get better at that over time. In year two, it's 2.1%. In year three, it's 2.2%. And then you have two website funnels. You have organic traffic and you have paid ads. And each of those has different settings. And remember, we're only changing the boxes in blue here. So for organic traffic, this would be SEO or people who find out about you by word of mouth or PR, whatever it is that you're doing, content creation. You set a starting number of visitors and you set the month that starts. You may not turn on your website until month 4, let's say. And then you set a growth rate. So if you're starting at 100 visitors per month and you have a 5% growth rate, in the next month you'll have 105 visitors. Then you'll have 110 or 111 visitors the next month. So it grows over time according to the growth rate. And again, we're only filling out the items in blue. And you'll see in this little sparkline chart here, this draws the curve of your site visitors. And so actually, if we change this to 10 months, the start month to 10 months, you'll actually see our little cliff moves out there. But if I set it to month 1, we don't get a little cliff because in month 1, we start getting the visitors. And then you get some readouts below. So that makes it easier for you to change the numbers and understand the curve you're drawing. So if I start with 100 visitors and I have 100 unique visitors per month and I have a 5% growth rate per month, and I start in month 1, that gives me almost 1,600 visitors in the first year. And then I keep growing at 5%. That gives me close to 3,000 visitors in year 2 and close to 5,000 visitors in year 3. And this will also tell me how many customers this will convert to. And the way it's doing the calculation, it's using this conversion ratio, this conversion percentage that we set up here. So you'll actually see if I change this to 3%, you'll see now I'm converting 48 of those 1,593 visitors. If I set it back to 2%, then I'm converting 32 of those 1,593 visitors. I can also change the growth rate. So let's say I change this to 10%. Now I'm getting many more visitors in year 1, which is giving me more customers, and that increases my numbers for years 2 and 3. So you can play with these numbers. The next section is paid ads. And with paid ads, again, I have a launch month. So it may be that I'm just doing organic from month 1 and I don't launch the paid ads until month 6. And then here I have some extra settings. So cost per click is how much I'm paying on average per paid ad to drive a visitor to the website. So in this case, it's set at $3. You'll have to do some testing on Facebook or Google or whatever, Twitter, Instagram, to see what your average rate is going to be. But in this case, we're saying it's $3 in year 1, and actually it's getting more expensive in year 2 and year 3. Here's how much I'm spending on ads per month: $500 per month in year 1, $1,000 per month in year 2, $2,000 per month in year 3. And again, I'm growing that ad spend rate every month. And this will give me the total ad spend for the year, similar to how we were calculating the number of visits above for organic traffic. It will also tell me the number of visits. So in this case, my organic is actually delivering more visits than my paid ads. In real life, you would probably boost the paid ad spend to drive more visitors than your SEO is typically the way that works, unless you get really, really good at the SEO. And this will also tell you how many customers you're converting. And again, that's based on the conversion ratio. So right now, my $500 a month is $4,000 a year with a 5% growth rate. That delivers 1,358 visitors, of which 27 convert to customers. And if I change the conversion ratio up here to 3%, you'll actually see that now that's driving 41 customers. And that gives me also the implied cost to acquire a customer for my paid ads. So with these settings, I'm paying about $100 for each customer. And that cost of acquisition becomes very important because it determines the profitability of my business. I need to make more than $100 off of a customer if I'm paying $100 to acquire each of those customers. Keep in mind, depending on your business model, if you're selling services or transactions or you're selling units, you're driving customers. If you're selling subscriptions, by default, this is driving trials, which may or may not turn into customers. There's a separate, in the subscription setting, there's a separate setting for how many of your trial customers convert to paid subscriptions, which you can set to 100% if you don't have a trial. But if you do have a trial, you're actually going to pay more per customer because this only gets the customer into the trial. And then you still have to convert them into a paid customer. One thing I will say is on the paid ads, this is a average of all the different ad spends you're doing. This model doesn't support separate settings for Twitter and Instagram and Google and Facebook, but you just take the average in this case for the modeling purposes. So I'm paying an average of $3 across per click. I'm spending $500 per month across all the different channels I'm advertising on, and that is what's driving this model. So it's an approximation for the purposes of the financial projections. Thanks a lot. Let me know if you have questions or suggestions.